I'm Carol Kidu Jr. with the news. In this edition, SAV-related bill passed unopposed, Paita warns of early campaigning, and Garobi Nines launched. The National Executive Council in its meeting of February 24th has approved Monday, February 28th as a declared public holiday to commemorate the first anniversary of our passing of our founding father. The normal resumption of duties for the workforce is Tuesday, the 1st of March this year. The Department of Prime Minister and the National Executive Council made the announcement in a circular dated February 24th outlining that NEC Decision Number 33 of 2021 declared 26 February every calendar year as a public holiday to remember the life and times of our first Prime Minister, the late Grand Chief Sir Michael Thomas Somare. The anniversary date, 26 February 2022, falls on Saturday, which is a weekend. Accordingly, the NEC has approved Monday as a public holiday. This public holiday is to be observed throughout the country and PNG's diplomatic missions overseas. While different institutions and provinces plan their activities to observe late Sir Michael's death anniversary, in Port Moresby a vigil will be held for the founding father at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium on Saturday, February 26 at 7 p.m. Prime Minister James Marape's determination to address corruption and sorcery-related violence continues with the introduction of 3 more related bills in Parliament yesterday. Amendments to the Criminal Code to criminalize purported seers or glassmen and glassmeri, their activities and those who engage their services in the perpetration of sorcery-accused related violence was proposed to Parliament by ECPIC Governor Alan Bird and passed unanimously on voices.
The passing of this bill is one of the results from the work of the Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee, from which the amended Criminal Code will now play a big role in addressing sorcery accusation-related violence in the prosecution or the finding of these seers. Governor Bird said many SARV cases used a glassman or glassmeri to falsely accuse someone of sorcery, majority of whom are widows. Women and girls are usually subjected to extreme acts of violence, torture, rape, and many are eventually killed. Governor Bird tabled the report of the Special Committee on Gender-Based Violence on behalf of the Chairman and Member for Alotau, Charles Abel, and other stakeholders, NGOs who were involved in the findings and culminating of the report on gender-based violence and sorcery-accused-related violence. He said these seers are in fact con artists who destroy lives and spoil the reputation of our Christian nation. This bill criminalizes actions including the following.
This Glassman Bill is a proposed amendment to the Criminal Code. It is intended to address sorcery accusation-related violence, or SARV for short, by criminalizing the act of practicing as a glassman or glassmeri, the use of glassman or glassmeri and other related acts. Any person who directly or indirectly seeks to employ the use of a glassman or a glassmeri is guilty of an offense. Any person who uses a glassman or glassmeri and threatens to use these services against someone else is guilty of an offense. Any person who sells their services as a glassman or glassmeri is guilty of an offense. These offenses will be punishable by a fine of 10,000 kina or 10 years in prison or both.
Prime Minister Marape commended the Parliament for sitting right through the reading of the amendment bill to end the growing issue. Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
Minister for Finance Sir John Pundari announced in Parliament today that all government accounts, including districts, should now be in operation to allow for government services to reach rural areas. He said his office has already issued a circular to all the provinces and districts on the opening of the accounts.
Finance Minister Sedzon Pundari has warned those provincial and district finance managers that they will be dealt with for not adhering to the directives from the office of the minister. Sedzon made these remarks after Kokopo MP Emil Tamur raised concerns on the closure of the district account.
Can we start operating our accounts? Because IFMS for sure, Union Abuse Metlol provinces, the district blomi, Custom blomi or same, so that minister can give him some talk or right lomi plaugata because some time when they give instructions from what must be provincial finance manager by Gatnara Platok, district finance manager by Gatnara Platok. So
districts have their district budget resolutions and the expenditures according to procurement laws and processes. Mr. Speaker, if any one of our finance managers out in the districts are not adhering to those instructions and circulars released by the Department of Finance, and of course the letter by the good Minister for Treasury for such transactions and for the accounts to open, then I'd be interested to know so those officers can be reprimanded forthwith.
Sedzon explained that the government's IFMS system has been restored after it was hacked last year.
We have restored it. It will take some time to have it rolled out to our provinces and to our districts, and therefore we will have to continue to use the COVID trust account as approved by a finance instructions, I believe, issued earlier by my department.
Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Minister for National Planning Rainbow Paita has called on leaders to stay out of campaign until the issue of writs. He stressed they need to attend Parliament and debate on important issues affecting the country.
Leader of Government Business and Minister for Planning Rainbow Paita has urged all political party leaders to stop campaigning and wait for the issue of writs in April. Paita made this call after Makam MP Connie Iguan raised concerns that some leaders have criticized him for not delivering basic services to the district.
21 budget go finish na, you by give me this money or no got? Be asking you because I stay. Time you me sit down lo parliament stop. All sample leader blo this la house ya. All go lo electorate blo mi na bagarabi mi one time pangu party government. Lo you know look sawe lo line blo mi lo makam. Na you know give him money. Na money mixi mi go na walk kama bia. Nothing because all narabla money you blow go only mista bia. Now all go bagarabi mi na pangu stop. You mi stop busy lo parliament stop na. Sample leader go campaign stop lo electorate stop.
Iguan urged the Paita to release funding allocated for the roads in the Makam district as part of the criticism came from that incomplete sealed road along the Liron Plains. Paita assured the people of Makam that the funding will be released.
Time iblo national leaders you missed up, lo parliament takes precedent, Mr. Speaker. We're looking for numbers. The opposition leaders should be in the seat right now, administering, discussing about issues and debates and all this. Election time will come. Let's respect government process now. Time lo parliament, you may come sit on lo parliament. Number one. Number two, Mr. Speaker.
Minister Paita also clarified that most often issues on the road funding occurred because there is no unity among the provincial governor and the open MPs. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Stratton arrived in Port Moresby on 24th February for a port visit. During cutter Stratton's visit, officials of both countries discussed a bilateral shipwright agreement through which the U.S. and Papua New Guinea will cooperate to jointly combat illegal maritime activity in PNG waters. The shipwright agreement enables U.S. Navy vessels and USCG law enforcement personnel to work with host nations to protect critical regional resources. USCG PCG shipwriter projects promote host nation sovereignty by enabling Pacific Islands partners to enforce their laws and regulations while protecting resources. The U.S. Coast Guard regularly exercises 11 bilateral fisheries law enforcement agreements with countries throughout the Pacific Islands region, including Cook Islands, Fiji, Kiribati, Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Palau, Nauru, Samoa, Tonga, Tuvalu, and Vanuatu. This is TV1 News. Stay tuned for more after the break. Welcome back. Minister for Education Jimmy Ugoro has clarified that project fees are compulsory in all schools across the country but must be charged according to the Education Act. He also warned schools that school inspectors will be visiting the schools to make sure appropriate fees are being charged to parents.
From 2022, project fees are allowed to be paid by our parents. Only the authorities concerned, National Education Board, the Provincial Education Board, he authorized him all school fees. In all school yet, in all principal yet, or in all teacher, only chargeable project fees. So project fees, overcharging of project fees are not allowed. It is illegal.
Caritas Primary School in the nation's capital is the latest recipient of a double classroom funded by the people and government of Japan. The facility was opened this morning in a small but significant ceremony. The classroom goes a long way in helping the school accommodate the increase in student numbers.
3 years ago, Caritas Primary School transitioned from elementary level to primary, and with the increased number of students, the institution sought assistance from the Embassy of Japan to build a set of classrooms to address this increase. On Thursday, the school proudly opened a new double classroom built at over 297,000 kina under Japan's grant assistance for grassroots human security projects. Japan's ambassador to PNG, His Excellency Nobuyuki Watanabe, witnessed the occasion among other guests. Ambassador Watanabe, who has only been in the country for 3 months, says he firmly believes that education is a vital tool to acquire knowledge and skills and also is a great investment for the future. The ambassador, school director Sister Senorina Kim, and wife of the project manager Monica Hayun, cut a ribbon to signify the opening of the new facility. Ambassador Watanabe went on to attach the plaque to the building.
I know the school has been contributing to the primary education of this area by providing scholarships to students from poor families and accepting students at a small fee compared to other schools. We are very pleased to be able to support the Caritas School, which is making such efforts.
The school was established to provide an education opportunity for children who lived in the settlements in the vicinity of the main Caritas institution.
We now have 2 new classrooms. The support in the time of difficulty from the Japanese embassy will not be forgotten in the history of Caritas Primary School. I thank God for answering our children's honest prayers.
On behalf of parents and students, Dame Jean Kekedo and young Pamela Wambon thanked the people and government of Japan for seeing the need in Caritas Primary School and coming to its aid.
Some of the schools run by the churches, they give real time and real pride and real counseling to their children. Do invite you to make some effort in looking at the rest of our very hard-working schools and health centers in Papua New Guinea run by the churches.
Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
The Chief of Defense Force Major General Mark Goyner has commenced his unit visits this week, visiting the Air Transport Wing recently after commencing with the 1st Battalion Royal Pacific Islands Regiment on Tuesday 22nd February. The unit visit is to allow the CDF to understand the challenges currently faced and how best to assist the units as PNGDF is undergoing preparations to support the Royal PNG Constabulary during the 2022 national elections security operations. Goyner gave his assurance that he will address the issues in line with his priorities that include duty of care to the men and women within PNGDF, organizational reform, operational proficiency, infrastructure and nation building. He cautioned serving members to do right during the 2022 national elections to provide a free, fair and safe election period. The CDF's visit to the units will see him visit all Port Moresby units before completing all the northern units before the elections. Sports is next after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. And in sports, the annual Central Governors Rugby League Challenge, the Scale Rice Garobi Nines Cup, is good to go after approval given by the National Pandemic Control Centre. The tournament is again sponsored by Goodman International through its Scale Rice brand. The two-day tournament is now scheduled for Monday 28th February to Tuesday 1st March 2022 at the Bava Park.
A soft launch of the Garobi Nines Cup tournament took place at the Sir John Guy's Stadium. It was attended by Tournament Director Indi Verena, Goodman Fielder International Representative Shonginen Moeng, Dabaris Director Hubert Warupi and team representatives. 44 teams will compete in Open Men's Division and 12 teams in the Schoolboys Division. Prior to the launch, a short awareness session was conducted by staff from the Nupla passing team. Central Dabaris franchise director Hubert Warupi thanked GFI for its continued support of the Garobi Nines tournament. Warupi reaffirmed the vision and objective of having the tournament and that it is to identify and expose raw talent across rural Central and create a pathway for the Central Province franchise Dabaris.
This is one part of the talent identification program. It also allows us to see where rugby league is present in the province. So after this competition has been held, we will sit down with each of the teams that have participated and do a little bit of a review and find out which parts of the province rugby league is very active, which part of the province needs a bit more help. So we come in and we help them.
GFI's Retail Activation Manager said the company is honored to be associated with such a well-managed and run tournament and committed 20,000 kina.
The plans and the vision that we all aim and strive for, I believe we have the ability to also deliver as people of the Central Province. And if we're coming in line to sponsor, it's an honor to sponsor such a team that's prestigious coming from our history, and we want to also take it forward.
Meanwhile, Verena reminded team representatives to prepare and educate their players about tournament rules and standards as per tournament objectives. Godwin Eki, TV1 Sports.
Endorsements of athletes to the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, United Kingdom will be announced in March 2022 after the PNG Olympic Committee Justification Committee meets at the end of February. National sports federations have been advised to provide all requirements for the Commonwealth Games preparations and for accreditation purposes whilst the Justification Committee is in deliberation.
The list of athletes travelling to the United Kingdom for the Commonwealth Games as Team PNG will be announced in March. Targeted sports include athletics, beach volleyball, boxing, rugby sevens, squash, swimming, table tennis, weightlifting and para-sports athletics and table tennis. PNG Olympic Committee General Secretary Ovita Rapila said athletics, boxing, squash and swimming will fill the open allocations quota, of which Papua New Guinea has only 31 slots available. Codes such as beach volleyball, rugby sevens, table tennis, weightlifting and the para sports will have to qualify to participate in Birmingham. Rapila said the final team to the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games is subject to final endorsement by the Justification Committee, respective qualifying systems and continuous monitoring of athletes' performance and preparations. At the third 2022 Commonwealth Games sports meeting last weekend, PNGOC advised national sports federations that letters of endorsements will be provided after the Justification Committee meeting in March. The general management team to Birmingham includes Michael Henao as chef de mission, Gorothi Semi as general manager, Dr. Kapua Kapua as chief medical officer, and Matthew Natush as head physiotherapist for athletes. Godwin Eki, TV1 Sports.
PNG Weightlifting Federation President Sir John Dawinikura says up-and-coming weightlifters are being monitored and mentored to be the next breed of champion weightlifters. He said many raw talents have been identified. Those who attended the last Pacific Games are being considered to carry on from the elite athletes and represent the code of weightlifting in country and overseas.
The up-and-coming lifters, I've asked Mawara to put the names of the athletes, male and female, that we can nominate to, for mini games in particular. But at the end of the day, we will go by whatever decisions the Justification Committee makes.
And that ends the news tonight. Remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.